Now, let's put our pajamas on and become part of the theme, Nursery Rhymes and Bedtime Stories. Please welcome our 2017 line lieutenants, Jake Kurth, representing Little Boy Blue, and Mary Mintz, representing our version of Tinkerbell, Blinkerbell, who will lead the 2017 crew of Golden Age. Thank you, crew. Our powerful captain, the Grand Wizard, will bring our stories to life. Let's welcome our 2017 captain, Mr. Charles Watson. At this time, we'd like to remember our 2016 Queen, Miss Lorraine Royes, represented by her family, and ask that our 2016 King, Mr. Ray Eifert, to stand. Our captain will now signal the start of this year's tableau. Now, most people don't think about this, but books are very powerful. They inspire us to dream, they motivate us, they provide history, they inspire faith, hope, and love, and with these powerful tools, they bring pleasure to people all over the world. This year, we're excited to celebrate our tradition of bringing Mardi Gras joy to all of our guests in our 58th year with our own special version thanking the authors of all of our books. Do you remember jumping into bed with anticipation of the fun-filled stories and adventures you were about to hear from Mom and Dad? Well, sit back, relax, and reminisce as we entertain you with our 2017 Golden Age Ball, Nursery Rhymes, and Bedtime Stories. Our first story begins as an evil witch threatens to have a neighbor jailed for stealing unless he gives his daughter to her at birth. Desperately, he agrees. The daughter grows up to be the most beautiful child in the world with long golden hair. When she reaches her 12th year, the witch shuts her away in a tower in the middle of the woods with neither stairs nor a door. When she visits her, she stands beneath the tower and calls out,
Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair, so I may climb thy golden stair.
One day, a prince rides through the woods, hears Rapunzel singing, and immediately falls in love. In conversation, Rapunzel asks the witch why it's harder to pull her up tower compared to the prince. In anger, the witch cuts off Rapunzel's hair and casts her into the woods to fend for herself. When the prince calls out that night, the witch lets down the severed hair, and as the prince enters the tower, he is confronted by the witch and Rapunzel and is nowhere to be found. In jealous rage, the witch tells him he will never see Rapunzel again and pushes him onto thorns, blinding him. He wanders through the woods in search for Rapunzel and finally finds her by hearing her sing. As they fall into each other's arms, he tears immediately, restores his sight, and they live happily ever after. Rapunzel is represented by our little farm's maid, Miss Carol Ruhal, and her duke, Mr. Frank Ruhal. Snow White is a lonely princess who lived with her wicked stepmother, the queen who fears that Snow White's beauty surpasses her very own. Knowing this, she forces Snow White to work hard as a scullery maid. The wicked queen's fear becomes a reality when she asks her magic mirror,
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?
As the mirror answers back, he tells the queen that Snow White is now the fairest in the land. The queen becomes enraged and instructs her huntsman to kill Snow White. As the huntsman finds Snow White, she begs for her life and the huntsman spares her. Soon after the meeting, the huntsman Snow White goes into the woods and is befriended by 7 dwarves. When the queen asks the mirror,
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?
she realizes that Snow White is still alive. Growing with fear, the queen decides to kill Snow White herself and disguises herself as an old lady. She offers Snow White a poisonous apple, and Snow White goes into a sleeping death. The grieving dwarfs put her in a glass case, and one day, a prince visits her, kisses her, and breaks the spell. Please welcome Snow White, Miss Joy Gray, escorted by Mr. A.J. Dewhurst and the Miley Club. Our next story tells of a girl called Alice falling through a rabbit hole into a fantasy world populated by peculiar creatures. The adventure includes advice from a caterpillar, a mad tea party, and a queen's croquet game with the Queen of Hearts' famous line.
Off with their heads!
Alice meets plenty of characters, including Cheshire Cat and the White Rabbit, who runs through the land yelling,
I'm late for a very important thing. No time to say hello, goodbye, I'm late.
Please welcome our Cleary maid, Miss Joyce Hoffman, escorted by Ricky Templin, Councilman District 1, depicting Alice in Wonderland. We'd like to dedicate this next production to Mrs. Billy Ormsby. Mary, Mary, Quite Contrary is a popular English nursery rhyme. It has been seen as having religious and historical significance, but its origins and meanings are disputed. The oldest known version was published in the year 1744.
Mary, Mary, quite contrary, how does your garden grow? with silver bells and taco shells and pretty maids all in a row.
Please welcome Miss Millie Talbot, representing Lakeshore, escorted by Mr. Al Template from the Cleary Club.
With silver bells and cockle shells and pretty maids all in a row. And pretty maids all in a row.
This story is about a girl walking through the woods named Little Red who was delivering food to her sick grandmother. As she strolls through the wood, she encounters an odd character, a wolf. And while talking with his wolf, she informs him of where she's going and why. The wolf hurries ahead to grandmother's house, and while waiting for Red, he eats Granny as a snack and disguises himself as Granny. Waiting for his main course, Little Red. When Little Red arrives, she asks,
Oh, what a deep voice you have, Grandma.
Better to greet you with.
Oh, goodness, what big eyes you have, Grandma.
Better to see you with.
Oh, what a big mouth you have, Grandma.
Better to eat you with.
and he jumps out of bed and gobbles her too. Please welcome our Jefferson maid, representing Little Red Riding Hood, Miss Cora Moinster, escorted by Mr. Mike Weston. Little Miss Muffet is one of the well-known nursery rhymes. Like most such rhymes, its origins are unclear. Some claim it was written by Dr. Thomas Moffat for his stepdaughter. Some claim it refers to Mary, Queen of Scots. Nobody really knows the truth, but several novels and films take their title from the poem's crucial line.
Little Miss Muffet sat on a top, eating her curds and whey. When along came a spider who sat down beside her and frightened Miss Muffet away.
Please welcome our Delta maid, Miss Mimi Haverty, and her duke, Mr. Bill Haverty, representing Little Miss Muffet. Our next story tells us about a little baby bear, a mama bear, and a great big papa bear. The bears find that someone had been eating their porridge. While sitting in their chairs, the baby bear exclaims,
Oh, someone's been sleeping in my bed, and she's still here.
We've enjoyed this adventure for over 200 years. Please welcome Goldilocks, our merry baby, Miss Lena Sakaro, escorted by Mr. Merrill Fassione from the Miley Club.
Has lost her sheep and doesn't know where to find them. Leave them alone. They'll come home, wagging their tails behind them.
The earliest record of this rhyme references a children's game called Bo Peep and was included in one of Shakespeare's King Lear scenes. Bo Peep was the female lead in the film Babes in Toyland, and more recently appears as a character in Toy Story, an animated Disney film. Let's welcome our Gerard maid, Miss Janice Nichols, and her duke, Mr. Sid Landry. Please welcome our king, Mr. Dennis Bergeron of the Jefferson Golden Age Club, representing Prince Charming, escorted by Cassie Rodriguez, Music Service Coordinator. No matter what we dream of, this is by far our most favorite dream of all. Prince Henry, known as Prince Charming, was created in 1697. The prince is a brown-haired, tall man, 19 years of age, and the son of a king who wants grandchildren, so he organizes a grand ball in order for the prince to meet the love of his life. He rejects all the maidens at the ball until he sees Cinderella and falls madly in love with her. Prince Charming dances with Cinderella all night until she runs away, leaving a glass slipper behind her. 2017 Queen Carolyn Holland from the Jefferson Club as she depicts Cinderella, escorted by Parish President Michael Yeager. And our story becomes complete as we introduce Cinderella, a good-hearted girl who embraces her father's new wife and children, but is devastated by her father's sudden death and is enslaved by her stepmother to become their maid. When the news of the grand ball is heard throughout the land, the stepmother and stepsisters begin to make their plans, but Cinderella is locked in the attic so can't attend. Because Cinderella is so kind to everyone, she is blessed with a fairy godmother and is transformed into a beautiful princess. She goes to the ball, but the spell is only good until midnight. As she dances with the prince, she has to flee the ball, leaving behind her glass slipper. The prince searches the entire kingdom for the girl who dropped the glass slipper. When he arrives at Cinderella's house, her wicked stepmother locks her in the attic. But as he leaves, she begins to sing, and when he hears her, he runs to the attic, and of course the glass slipper fits, and they live happily ever after. Cinderella's stepfamily beg her for forgiveness, and she agrees.
The moral of the story is, beauty is a treasure, but graciousness is priceless. Without it, nothing is possible. With it, you can do anything.
Our royal court and guests will now be entertained by the children from Warren Fennery's Dance Factory. As with all royal balls, the court is always entertained by the royal jester. As for your entertainment, we present our jester from the Gerard Golden Age Club, Miss Shirley Shellis.
Two campers were walking through the woods when a huge brown bear suddenly appeared in a clearing about 50 feet in front of them. The bear sees the campers and begins to head toward them. The first guy drops his backpack, digs out a pair of sneakers, and frantically begins to put them on. The second guy says, "What are you doing? Sneakers won't help you outrun that bear." "I don't need to outrun the bear," the first guy says. "I just need to outrun you." 3 men died, but before God would let them into heaven, God gave them a chance to come back as anything they wanted. First guy said, "I want to come back as myself, but 100 times smarter." So God made him 100 times smarter. Second guy said, "I want to be better than that guy. Make me 1,000 times smarter." So God made him 1,000 times smarter. The last guy decided he would be the best. So he said, "God, make me better than both of them. Make me 1,000,000 times smarter." So God made him a woman.
Thank you, Miss Shirley. Ladies and gentlemen, our 2017 Crew of Golden Age will entertain our guests. It is our pleasure to present our honored guests to our Royal Majesties. Parish President Michael Yenny.
Now being presented to our Royal Court, our Recreation Administration, Mr. Brad Roth, East Bank Recreation Administrator, Ms. Cassie Rodriguez, Area Coordinator, and Mr. Ethan Landry, Zone Manager. Now welcome your leisure service supervisors, Ms. Patty Martinez, and Ms. Jessica St. Amant.
At this time, I'd like to recognize one of our honored guests who remain up on the stage, Councilman Ricky Templin. 2017 West Bank King and Queen will now be presented to the royal couple. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Arthur Schlegel and Ms. Yolanda Cortez. Joining them is the Area Coordinator of West Bank Leisure Service, Daisy Acosta, and Mr. Gary Bedros, Leisure Service Program Supervisor. At this time, we have a special guest to present the court, Mr. Vince Vance. This ball takes months of work from our talented volunteer members. Will the ball committee members please come to the dance floor? Thank you so much for dedicating your time and talents to our special event. The presentation portion of our program is now complete. The Royal Court will now come to the dance floor for the Grand March and Dance. At this time, we'll have our royal dance. It is time to celebrate the joy and revelry of Mardi Gras season as our crew leads our final dance. Our port and crew's final request is that you join them in singing the closing song, Love Makes the World Go Round. The words can be found on the inside cover of the ball program. My name is Brad Roth. It has been an honor and my pleasure to MC your Golden Age Ball. On behalf of the Royal Court and crew, we'd like to thank you for joining us today for our 58th annual celebration.